A function can return values. These are usually the result of calculations performed in the function's body. Return values are indicated by an arrow after the input parameters. Values can be one or more, and their type can be different. As for input values, inferencing doesn't work, and types for all return values need to be declared. Multiple return values are put together as a tuple, and can therefore be accessed using normal tuple syntax. Now I'm going to work with a function that accepts input parameters but also returns a value. And I want to use this function to nicely present the characteristics of my motorbike. So I'm going to define a function, func present bike, and the function is accepting different parameters. First, the brand of my motorbike, which is a string. Then the model of my motorbike, which is also a string. Then the displacement of my motorbike, which is going to be an integer. I have to define the return value of my function, which is going to be a string. Now I'm going to define the function's body. So let my bike, I'm going to combine these values with nice presentation labels. So brand colon, I'm going to use the brand parameter, and then a new line. Remember the escape characters that we use to introduce special characters inside a string. Then model colon model parameter, another new line, and then displacement, which is going to be displacement parameter. Okay, we see apparently there's nothing wrong, but Swift Playground is telling me there is a problem here. So I click on this question mark. Actually, I definitely need a return to return the value that is defined by expected by my function. So return statement, and I'm going to return my bike. Okay, now we're going to call our function. So let t equal, we need to assign a value to something because our function is returning a value. So present bike brand, so it's going to be BMW, model is GS, and displacement is going to be 1200. And as you see here, now we get a return for our t constant that is a nice package presentation of our motorbike characteristics. Okay, and I'm going to define a function that is going to return multiple values. So I'm going to use a tuple, and the function is going to calculate the area of a table for which I'm passing the parameters, the size of my table, and it's also returning the color of the table. So I'm going to pass x is going to be an integer, y is going to be an integer, so this is going to be the size of my table, and I'm going to return my tuple, which is going to be area, integer, and tint is going to be a string. And in the function's body, I'm going to calculate the color of the table depending on its surface. So let's first calculate the area of the table. So x times area equal x times y. Then let's define variable tint, which is going to be a string. And with a switch statement, I'm going to decide the color of my table. So in case this is from 0 to 2000 square centimeters, I'm going to say that tint is white. I'm going to insert two other cases. So from 2001 to 3000, my table is going to be red. From 3001 till 4000, it's going to be yellow. Otherwise, if I go beyond 4000 square centimeters, default tint is going to be purple. Okay, so I have now to return the values for my table. So I'm going to return area and tint. So now I want to compute table size, let my table equal area and color. I'm going to pass the size of my table. Of course, its functions are case sensitive. Area and color 100 by 50. My table is 5000 square centimeter and it's purple. Because of course 100 times 50 is 5000, so I'm in the case beyond 4000, so I get a purple table. If I pick up a smaller table, let's say 50 by 50, my table is going to be red. And if I make my table even smaller, my table is going to be white.